Indo Sport friends, confidants, correspondents, gather around. The most stupendously thrilling, jaw-dropping moment in Generation Plus, I think we're saying, for Irish football. 96 minutes on the clock. Liam Scales, heroic, out-jumping 2 Hungarians, just finds an extra sliver of hang time. Meanwhile, already darting is our boy. And the studs finish is elite. And we just have absolute unbridled euphoria. The greatest celebration probably in Irish football as well. We have a lot to get through. It sort of feels like the moment was so immense we should be in the World Cup now, but we actually have playoffs. Playoffs plural to go through. Plural!
2 teams.
It's a joke.
We're still so far away.
Oh man. Can we not just get in? Like a golden buzzer in one of those reality TV shows. But look, that's a problem for March 2026. We're going to hang out in November 25 for a little while. Happy to say, how many does it take to change a light bulb? They all want it in. Conor McKeown, welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
Conor just asked off air, does this beat the overshadowed the Quilter series?
Yeah.
It does ever so slightly.
Okay, that's good. I don't know.
Will Slattery, he's not sure if it does overshadow the Quilter series.
Happy to admit that it definitely does. Delighted to be here, Joe. Delighted to be here.
I know. And Conan Darty, who's just at last. Do you want to come in too?
I just want to chat to anybody who wants to chat about this.
There's a queue of people outside here that want to come on the
revolving door. We will chat in due course to Damien Delaney. Aidan Fitzmaurice over in Budapest is going to check in as well. Dan McDonnell will be on tomorrow for even more considered thoughts. So we will have you very well covered. That was a football bloody hell type moment. Can I get one, please, Paul?
I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell.
I just can't. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
There's no earthly context for any of this. We've had some great moments, and probably because they've been so great and so fleeting and far between. But they're all 1-0s. Do you know what I mean? Like Ray Houghton is a 1-0. Giant Stadium, Stuttgart, all the big. But to have 2 in a week, is it? What's the last great Irish football moment? Is it Robbie Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go 13 years without one, and then you have 2 in a week. Like the Ronaldo sending off, each day I've woken up, it has felt even nicer because the context around it, we're winning. And then to come from behind twice, we just don't do that.
Oh. The mob are waiting. Micheál Ó Fó. What's with the hold up here, Joe, on the podcast? This was last night. Get the unions involved. We had John Bollard. Can I request a 3 to 4 hour podcast today, please? Kieran Burke, travelling back from Budapest. I'm refreshing Spotify every few minutes. Come on. So, Kieran, if you're travelling back from Budapest, I assume you were amongst the 3,000 here singing Fields of Athenry. This is post-match when the players are all... Did you notice they were all doing this thing? They just kept putting their hands on their heads. What the fuck? It's just happened. So here were the fans looking down on them from a height. They were so high up as well.
That's where you want them to be in the Aviva.
Yeah.
Your point has gotten stronger as it goes along. You see us up in the gods, but that made it all the more beautiful when that stadium just dropped dead silent because the Hungarians were jeering us. They were whistling. We tossed a long ball into the box that got cleared away, and I thought that was it. The referee said, "Go ahead, one more for the crack." Threw it in, and then obviously what happens next happens.
It was like
and the stadium just drops silent, and then the sound of the Irish fans breaking through.
You know when you're winded, you go, and then it's complete silence.
Yeah.
It was like the Hungarian crowd had been winded.
I still haven't heard that, actually. Because I obviously in real time I didn't... I want to hear the reaction in the stadium. So I still have... And everything I've seen since is just videos of other people watching it. So I still have yet to hear the quiet stadium. I must check that out.
It's like 2 speakers. Obviously there's a jeering, whistling Hungarian fans who want to get us to this World Cup playoff. And then that speaker just gets shut off, and then you hear the sound of the Irish ambush just coming through from the tower of the stadium up on top of it.
Part of me sort of laments the fact that we can't do anything nowadays without having to record it and video ourselves or take pictures of ourselves and put it up on Instagram. And the part of me that thinks, why can't we just all get over ourselves? But it's one of the great things that when something like this happens and people have their phones out, you get so much joy from watching people that you've never heard of, never met, and will never ever get to meet in real life react to something in time. It is kind of amazing.
I think the phenomenal reaction and all the different videos stems from the fact that like the last 8 years have been unspeakably grim from an Irish football perspective. It's funny, you said when was our last great moment. Were you just forgetting that in 2017, James McLean scored a goal in very similar circumstances to also put us into a playoff in our last game away from home against Wales. At the time, that was huge. Yeah. But it was off the back of a period where we qualified for 2 Euros. We were in the mix for a few qualifications. The last 8 years, we have not really sniffed qualification. So this is why it felt so much greater, even though the circumstances were somewhat similar, albeit the hat-trick makes that maybe a lot more dramatic in some ways. But God, it just felt...
But to come from behind twice against a team that are like technically adequate, you know what I mean? Like that is not a thing that we do. You go, you 1-0 down, you say, okay, it's not your day, lads. Pack up the tent. Then you get back into it, and then you get the when we went 2-1 down, when Ireland went 2-1 down, there was a period there where Hungary were like keeping the ball and pinged around, and like Ireland couldn't get near it, and you're just like, okay, this is where this is now. It's time to go away, and obviously like. If Ireland hadn't won on Thursday, this game wouldn't have had anything riding on it. But you could just see how empowered they were by the result on Thursday, that they were going to keep going all the way through. And like of all of the things, like, we talk about confidence and systems and blah, blah, blah. But if you have a fella with quality in the box and you keep putting it in there, sometimes you're going to get goals. And it's an amazing thing. Like, think of all the things that had to happen for these two results to come together. But one of them probably is Evan Ferguson not being fit to play.
Yeah.
Like would Parrott have played? He wouldn't have played through the middle anyway.
I think Hallgrimsson confirmed Ferguson would have started in Budapest.
Right.
Joe and crew, happy Monday. I could be on my own. Was Evan Ferguson missing for the Portugal and Hungary games a blessing in disguise? Yes, it was. Yes, it absolutely was. Here is ESPN Brazil, which is, and it's exactly, the way the celebration was so incredible. Like, so he's just screaming goal during all of this, and it just is perfect.
Keller vai mandar a bola na área. Estamos já com 50 minutos. Olha a tentativa! Gol!
That's great stuff.
And even the way he drops,
it's just so good.
Getting the goal treatment. We are a worldwide story right now.
A phenomenon.
It's not,
we are huge.
This is not just like an Irish podcast talking about an Irish win. This has gone global, and rightly so. This was any football fan around the world watching that yesterday.
We are getting so much traction right now.
Oh, listen. And they were the Ronaldo tears guys the other week?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You mentioned the videos. So the videos are just kind of piling through from around the country. We had a lovely email. I didn't actually print it off in all the madness this morning from a listener in Galway who went to the pub with his family, but then his son's under-10 game was on, so they left at half-time. Kind of looks, we're not going to win. We gave it a shot. And then he just describes the euphoria in the under-10 game when the sidelines realise what's happened. And the kids are going crazy, and it's just like a magical thing at a Salt Hill under-10s match. Here, though, is everyone seen the Dublin Airport video?
Yeah.
Why is this one so good? I don't know why. It's that thing of that communal...
It's the fella who doesn't let go of his hand luggage.
Yes.
Well, they do ask you at check-in.
That is incredible.
You're not meant to part. Yeah, that's a security concern.
Yeah, well,
he takes security seriously, that guy.
You wonder what was in the...
I think it's lovely because it's, a pub is people in the locale, where an airport is just like random mishmash. I don't know how long the person was recording on their phone for, because they caught the quiet before the goal. Most of these videos start with mid-celebration.
No, it was a surveillance video on your man with the bag.
So here is the good people at Dublin Airport yesterday. You can picture the scene.
I was in the Ferry Carrick Hotel in Wexford yesterday watching the second half, and I was writing a match report from the game I was at. I managed to find a room with nobody else in it and a television, which was perfect. And so I saw the goal go in, and watched it and holy shit, digested it. And then like 2 separate people came in from the bar with their children who were crying because they were in the restaurant at the time when the calls went.
A lonely way. It's a dystopian way for you to have to watch that game.
I like it. That's
Like, where were you when Troy Parrott?
I was alone
in the Ferry Carrick Hotel in Wexford.
The airport thing is because it's such a moment in time. Like, it's a real reeling in the ears thing. The world has stopped for a moment there at the airport. Everyone's literally going here, there, and everywhere,
Yes,
and they've stopped around the screen to see this moment.
What an unlikely kind of rebrand for the Dublin airport as well. I feel like they were getting much more stick than the Ireland football team even, and to have them to have this cathartic moment as well at the same time, I feel is a good thing.
But that's like we were on our knees. Like, the nation was like what Will was talking about 8 years ago. The nation was just on its knees, and Troy Parrott has come along and lifted us, and not only gotten us standing, but standing.
But for sure, do you know when you say on our knees, I actually think it had become worse than that based on like my anecdotal circle, which was indifference.
Total indifference.
It had long gone past the sense of outrage, shock, disgust. It was, oh, is that on tonight?
Yeah.
And I just can't, I couldn't, if you 90s, 2000s, even kind of a good chunk of the 2010s, it was almost impossible to foresee a point where people would be like, oh, the match is on tonight. No, I'll see.
So it got to the
If
point.
it suits me, I'll watch it.
It got to the point where I was like, oh, is this another international break?
Yeah.
And then there was the kind of tedious culture war that broke out in Irish football around the Stephen Kenny era as well. That was kind of hard to digest when there was nothing really interesting that was happening on the pitch. And then there was, there's something beautiful in this win because so much of football has now been distilled down into your possession stats and your XG and everything else. And presumably the reason we got a guy in who got Iceland to the World Cup is because he knows that there are little areas to take advantage. And despite this game going against us twice and not having the same possession stats and our goalkeeper needing to have a great game, they went and won the game anyway in the 95th minute.
With 3 goals.
And there's something beautiful about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's really striking that football has sort of come back to our supposed strengths, like long throw-ins, pragmatism. It's just interesting that you're seeing these things in the Premier League now, and it's like we had gone through the Stephen Kenny phase of split centre halves and passing, and if we follow this route, we'll get good at elite football. And actually, elite football's
we had to
back.
Yeah, we had to wait for the
pendulum is like
back,
that was a little bit like with we can't get our kids to go to bed on time, so we waited until the clocks went back an hour, and now we're good parents again.
Yeah.
Like, we had to wait for the entire game of football to go on a tactical cycle to meet us back at the beginning. Like.
Yeah, it's like, oh, actually, we can lean into our strengths. We can do this. Like, we can unashamedly now cheer Ogbene running 40 yards and winning a throw-in like it's a huge deal. Yeah. Whereas 5 years ago, there was a sense of, well, this is just caveman stuff.
One thing about this campaign that isn't appreciated enough probably is that it was played out over 3 windows in 3 months. It was
intense.
It's been so unbelievably intense because we got
way better.
100%, but what we used to be spread out over 12 months, we got in 12 weeks, and I feel jaded, like as in from, and I don't mean like bitter about it. I mean, I'm just knackered. It's been so intense. The highs, the lows. I can't believe we've had these 2 Armenia games in the same kind of little span of time, and these 2 unbelievable victories in the last.
I'd love to know though. Like, I'd love to get you can tell with Hamer that he's not that he's not honest, but he's not exactly divulging huge amounts. I'd love to get his actual unfiltered thoughts on what's after happening here. Is it just that this was the moment it all sort of clicked? Like, but how can you go from what it was a few weeks back to what it has been this week over 2 days? Like, once off, you say, right, the planets aligned. We beat Portugal 2-0. Ronaldo got sent off. If you keep turning up and playing enough matches, eventually the laws of probability will give you a day like this.
Yeah.
But to have 2 in 4 days, something has happened with the team.
I think he's gone back to safety first. I think after Armenia away, he quietly said, this lot are not to be trusted in certain aspects. And so it's gone back to root basics. Damien, who'll be on with us later on, talked about that Armenia home game where people criticised the lack of creativity. And Damien's read was, well, it was just ultra defensive. It was clean sheet and surely we'll nick a goal. It took them getting a red card for us to create anything. But I think what's happened then is the team have started to feel secure in that. I think they've looked around and said, okay, this sort of suits us. And Coleman's come back in and that's been a factor for sure. But I think they've grown shielded by that defensive first structure. And so therefore they didn't crumble yesterday when they went a goal down, didn't crumble when they went a second goal down. They felt it work against Portugal. So I think they've started to feel a bit emboldened, and that they can almost be aggressive within that kind of, not a straitjacket, but like we're not good enough to try anything silly or fancy. Josh Cullen, I'm sorry. Smallbone, I'm sorry. Malumbi, I'm sorry. We're not giving it to your feet anymore. It's not happening. Darragh O'Shea, if there's a big diagon and Ogbene, you start making out in runs, I think they're like, yeah, they're like, I can ping a good pass 70 yards. And Ogbene's like, you want me to make an outside to inside run and put them under pressure? Yeah, I'll do that. As opposed to, so I want you to go there and a little pass around the corner and then play it back into midfield.
We'll overload.
And then we're just getting ripped open. So I think they've been given this security first impetus by Hallgrimsson, who's just, he wanted to play 4-4-2 a la Iceland. That was his intended way. But I think he's looked at it, seen that's the way. But I think the players have, within that thought, oh, this suits me. This suits us.
It's our DNA. Like it is.
yeah.
Like we're celebrating here, getting through to the next phase, not even into the World Cup. But that's almost,
again, we really should be in the World Cup.
Exactly. But that's almost how we play. It's like, we're celebrating getting next yard up the pitch. We celebrate chasing down, closing down, like the Stephen Kenny era for all the invention that they tried to bring around. The pitch felt too big. We weren't aggressive. And actually, I still remember probably the most joyous moment from going to those games was still drawn with Serbia and the ball hitting off Shane Duffy's face and going into the net, because we were just pressing him and we were trying to get up the pitch.
If we had Shane Duffy now, we would win the World Cup.
Yeah.
What?
If we had Shane Duffy now back.
Why?
Because he's become now the
set piece maestro.
Yeah, like,
oh, sorry, yeah. I'm with you now. Sorry.
But I think the most profound thing that happened at that game yesterday was, for a long time, because the team's so poor, like, we're obviously all going to support the national football team because it's our national football team. But to get invested in the actual team and the players itself, you need moments and you need to see sides of their personality. And we've been stunted in that regard, because so much of what we've seen from them after games has been after playing poorly and losing. And it's, I'm sure players are hugely self-conscious after they lose, because the worst thing you can be in a fan's eyes is not caring enough. So they have to come across as contrite and humble. And sometimes that can just come across as being kind of vacant or distant or even arrogant.
Yeah.
But rather than seeing how much it means to them to lose, there was something incredible to watch how much it meant to them to win. It like the celebration when everyone comes off the bench, it's pure euphoria. And the Troy Parrott interview afterwards,
we'll get to it.
And once that happens, we're all back in, because all we need to know from a supporter's point of view, and I'm talking about this from a supporter's point of view, is we're all in this together.
Yeah.
You don't just get on the plane when the match is over and go back to your club and don't think about this for another 6 weeks. You're as in as we think that we are.
And great point, because I feel like Josh Cullen had mastered the dead-eyed, ashen-faced thing this match, and so you thought it was a void of personality. So instead, like last night, the whole country, we have the clip here, watched like the dressing room celebrating. I've never seen these guys celebrating. So this was the dressing room where they're obviously watching the goals on repeat and doing all that stuff, and then just singing away. Someone's like, no, up the Ra chance, for the love of God.
I can't believe we have to wait until March for this playoff. Everything happens so quickly. It's like, take a few months. Take a few months.
Now. We can enjoy it until March now.
Think of the build-up. I mean, from January, it's going to be.
Well, that's the part of this that I think that will resonate. Not that we all think that, we're a competitive European team again. I think there's a huge investment now, again, from my own just like echo chamber of a social circle. People got to see what it meant to these players to deliver that result. And, the reason that the players of the 90s and all the rest of it are such large characters in our society isn't necessarily that they went to the World Cup or they got good results or blah, blah, blah. It's because we knew who they were. We thought we knew who they were. We were closer to them. And there's obviously more of a distance now. That's not an Irish thing. That's a professional sport thing. But it's in moments like that you actually get to see what they're really like. And I think we're so kind of invested in these fellas. Because honestly, like Troy Parrott, until this week, I would have been like, oh yeah, like, what's Troy Parrott? He was a guy who went to Spurs, didn't quite make it, went to Holland, and he's scoring goals. Now, like, I want a adopt him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there was something beautiful in his interview on Thursday. There was something even more beautiful in his interview yesterday.
Well, let's have a listen to that interview with Tony O'Donoghue.
I am lost for words. What an extraordinary story this is. You said Thursday was the best night of your life. You've just topped that.
Yeah, I'm really, really emotional right now. Sorry. The tears of joy. What a night. What a night.
The second goal, I mean, striker's instinct. That's what it's all about. It's what you've been practicing all your life.
Yeah, this is why we love football, because things like this can happen. Look, Tony, I love where I'm from. So this means the world to me. My family's here.
I saw you go over to them. It's a beautiful moment.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time I've cried in years as well. I really, really can't believe it.
And what about your teammates? I mean, the belief in the team to keep plugging away, keep going for it. 5 minutes at it.
Yeah, look, everyone's crying. I said against Portugal that this is what dreams are made of, but this tonight is, I don't think I'll ever have a better night in my whole life.
Describe that last moment though. I mean, literally, we're in time added, the 5 minutes are up, and then you strike.
It's a fairy tale. You can't even dream about something like that. I honestly have no words to describe the emotions right now.
Well, a nation thanks you.
It is beautiful. A very certain vulnerability to him, isn't there?
Yeah, when he says, I'm proud of where I'm from, or I love where I'm from, like, it's just the way he said it, because it was kind of almost a non sequitur in the answer he was giving. It just almost like he saw his parents in the crowd, and it just kind of poured out of him. It was a phenomenal interview. I think when you're watching that in real time yesterday, I think we all knew we were watching something we're going to be hearing a lot for the rest of our lives. And I'm trying to think of someone whose life has changed so completely in the last, say, five days. Like, you know, for like, as Conor alluded to there, a guy with a lot of potential and played, some good games for Ireland, but like now he is a bona fide legend of Irish football forever. Even if they don't go to the World Cup, no one can change how we felt the last two matches, the last 4 or 5 days watching this team, the memories they've created. And maybe that sounds a little trite because they haven't qualified, but I don't think it is. Like, I think we all felt it. We all saw the reactions, and 5 days ago he was a completely different person than he is right now, and that must be very overwhelming. I can see why it kind of touched him the way it did, but a lot of potential there now. Like,
I think it's irrelevant, the fact that we're only in a playoff now. I think the moments were the thing. Like, we haven't had any moments from that team for so long, and we've been crying out for it. And it's only when you experience them you realise how few that they've been, and how enjoyable and how stirring they are when they kind of come about.
That McLean moment, though, he won RT Sports Personality of the Year that year, but that moment has died in the subsequent years. But that's not a touchstone, a cultural touchstone, even though at the time it actually did feel like a big thing. But I do agree with you. I think this is different. This one feels...
It's just because there was two of them in a week, and it's not just nicking a 1-0. Beat Portugal in Lansdowne, went away and came back twice over. I mean, we don't have a long and illustrious sort of history of results like that.
It's the one thing I've ever disagreed with him or Hallgrimsson on, where he said afterward, it's not about trying to find heroes. I was like, it is. It is. Like that under-10 game in Galway, like Troy Parrott is all their heroes now. They're all flicking on to see that goal too. Everybody around the country, they're looking at Queeveen Kelleher. They're looking at these moments of closing people down. They have these, cult heroes almost as well. Like that is how you bring people along. That's how you create these moments, these heroes, and that's what changes things.
I still think worst case scenario, like Ireland end up as the unseeded team here and lose 2-0 away to Scotland or something like that. I still think that these moments will resonate. I think there's enough distance, just even in terms of time, and they're significant enough just in the establishing of that relationship between the public and the team, that they will resonate. Like, it will obviously, if it's the start of something that ends up in America, then it will become, Alan McLaughlin and Windsor Park or whatever. But I still think that they stand alone as kind of moments. Like, we've seen some amazing moments for Irish sport this year, but that tops the lot, I think.
It's one of the greatest moments in Irish sporting history. Just the instant rush it gave everyone and the reaction. It'll stand the test of time.
Here is calmest man in the stadium, Hallgrimsson.
Yeah, it was a strange game, really a strange game. We seemed to be nervous in the beginning, struggling with their movements, defended them too late, not aggressive enough. Then we just, like we planned, we put in everything. We threw in 3 strikers in the end, and oh my God, these guys deserve what happened now. And congrats to the Irish nation to have these guys.
And congratulations to you. I mean, you had said in the build-up, if it came to it, you had planned for the various scenario.
Yeah, correct. So it was a step-by-step, starting with Ryan, Festi, then we were kind of 2-winger on the flanks. Then we threw in all the strikers. So we kind of went all in, and yeah, this is why, like you said, that's why we love this sport. It can always surprise you.
Yeah, so I guess it's a 3-year deal.
I do wonder, like, by the way, what was he talking to the ref about afterwards?
Oh, I don't know.
Like Rafa Benitez after the 2005 Champions League final.
It's incredible that he was doing, but I do wonder what Heimer really thinks of us, because you do get the sense that he wasn't particularly culturally educated as to what he was getting himself in for, beyond the football team and the players and blah blah blah. And like, I'd say Heimer doesn't even have a strong opinion on who was right or wrong in Saipan. You know, like we come with all this mad baggage, and he has been like the epitome of just reason and sense behind the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was very magnanimous. Like he could have been like, "I'm in keeping receipts of what was said about me, and you all said this." He was actually like, it was the best worst interview I've ever heard. Is in like, he was so, you wouldn't have had any idea if you just didn't see the game what he was really referring to. There was no euphoria, there was no emotion. He's obviously not Irish, so it hits him differently. But Jesus, plenty of football managers would have been given it the big one after that, and rightly so. And he actually very much took the high road, which we know from recent history our managers don't often do or always do.
I feel like Martin O'Neill would have been taking Tony to task after after the Armenia interview that time with Heimer, which was it was brutal, to be honest. But and there's so much vindication for him here. Like, even if you think of, remember Paddy McCarthy's, like, that became a bit of a joke, like his pre-campaign interview. And everyone was like, oh, like, we all got carried away. We listened to Paddy McCarthy telling us this group was special. And look how well that's aged in the space of 4 days anyway. And then the talk in the last window was, they're talking about getting a psychologist now. Bit late for that. I mean, my God, whatever they did psychologically as well between the 2 windows has been incredible.
I know there was a bit of talk about Heimer after the Portugal result. Would he get like a contract anyway? But I think the way it was going to fall, you know, with Ireland having qualified for the Euros, I think it would be too tempting to kind of move him on had Ireland not won yesterday, because, you know, somebody new comes in and they have a bit of time to get their feet under the table. It's not straight into qualify. You know, we're going to be in that tournament, and I think the appeal of having an Irish manager, you know, a Damien Duff or a Robbie Keane or whoever it might be, managing the team for that tournament might have been a hard one for the FAI to exist or to resist. So I think that result yesterday changed that. I think, like, obviously he's going to be around now, but I just, my suspicion, whatever about the economics or the availability aspect to it, I think without that result, I wasn't swayed by the argument that the Portugal game alone was going to get him a new contract.
Yeah, possibly not. Well, he's in now, and like, everyone happy to have him for through to Euro 28. That's it, isn't it?
Why stop there?
Why stop there is right.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts as we head to Damien Delaney and then Aidan Fitzmaurice?
Just the screeching of all these videos that are coming through. I'm with Conor. Like, it is one thing that I've sort of bemoaned in society, the phones, and now it's the thing I love most, watching them over and over. I saw a clip from O'Shea's pub in Manchester. You know, and again, something special about expats being away and getting together and watching a moment like this, and the sound, it's good to sort of connect with them, because it's like, that's definitely the sound I made as well, except there's 200 of you making it.
Yeah. On that, like, I got obsessed with these things after because they were new at the time, after the 2011 All-Ireland final. Loads of people, there was loads of videos going around of people in Croke Park, people in pubs, people around the world. But there was a preamble to that, in that Dublin won it free. And it was like, if this goes over, Dublin have won the All-Ireland. So people had time to make a decision to take out their phones to video a reaction. But in a match like this, I'm wondering, like, when did everybody get their phone? But it was just like, well, this might be a goal and this might be a goal.
That's what I'm saying about the Dublin Airport one.
Yeah, it is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the parallels with the Niall Quinn knockdown to Robbie Keane in 2002, and that's probably the last big similar moment, potentially. Like, I was 10 when that happened. I'm 33 now. Like, it's been a long time. We're waiting for something like this to grab you and send the whole nation into euphoria. Like I mentioned a few other moments earlier in the Robbie Brady one. I don't know, they all were great in another time, but I feel like...
It's so funny you say that, because I feel bad about saying that about Robbie Brady's one, or even McLean scoring away in Wales. This blows them out of the water.
Oh, I don't know about the Robbie Brady.
I know, and I'm not going to argue with anyone. Like, if you prefer the Robbie Brady one, you do. It's subjective. It's a feeling.
It's a gut feeling. Like,
it just blows it out of the water.
I think we had that, though. Like, it got us through to the next round.
I know it did.
But we were in the Euros in the first place. Like,
this was such a shock.
The big point about this is that, like, there's enough people playing football in this country that, you know, we were going to have an upsurge at some stage in how competitive we are. The team was going to improve. Maybe it was going to be next year or the following year, but the team was going to get better. But to go from where we were to what it looks like we've been for the last 2 days, that's extraordinary.
It felt like there was no guarantee of that, though. That was the point. Like, as in, it felt like there was a possibility this could drift and drift and drift, and that we might...
There was, but what I'm saying is that, you know, the law of averages, there's enough people playing football that they're going to get slightly better at some stage.
Yeah, but you didn't think it was going to be the crowd that were beaten 10 weeks ago, whipped by Armenia and Yerevan, who were going to do it, Portugal and then Hungary. It's just the shock factor. It's the shock factor in terms of this group, as in they were so dead in Yerevan, and it's the shock factor in that at 2-1, I just kind of thought they were dead. And even at 2-2, once Johnny Kenny, who was very good by the way, once he missed that chance, I thought. So I was just watching the last 3-4 minutes play out in a sense of they gave it an unbelievable shot here. What a great effort, but no sense that it was going to happen.
Yeah,
and it was funny. Like the Robbie Keane thing it is striking how similar it was. Everyone sees the goal in different ways. I don't know what it was about Troy. He caught my eye. I wasn't looking at the ball so much. I was looking at this guy. But so much, like he must have run about.
Do you know why?
15 yards. He sprinted through the box.
He ran 50 yards. He was out on the wing. Him and Johnny Kenny forced the clearance down
to Kelleher.
At 95-0-0. Therefore, and he actually runs down towards the halfway line, following the ball,
right,
and then makes his way in as Kelleher.
Do you know what that is? That is a guy playing first team football. Yeah. That is a guy who is fit in the 96th minute and sharp. But like to run at that pace, there's just some kind of amazing instinct there that I'm going to follow. I'm tracking this ball at pace, at pace, at pace. I'm going to arrive at pace. And I'm going to gamble that the flick, because, you know, if you're going at that pace, you've no time to adjust. I'm just going to gamble that my boy Scalesy is going to win it. And I'm going to keep going. And I'm uncatchable. And then obviously the finish it's sublime. Like, because I remember Michael Owen, in just, you know, he's had a sort of Matthew McConaissance in the last while, Michael Owen. And he was talking about like his technical ability versus Rooney. And he said, yeah, okay, I don't do a pass or a touch that looks as amazing as some of Harry Kane type. I do it at lightning speed like you've never believed. My first touch is amazing when I'm running at speed. You know what I mean? Like a ball's played through and I'm sprinting faster than anybody else on the pitch. My first touch then it's underestimated. And there's something about that with Parrott. Like, though, there's an ingenuity to the finish, to weigh up the dynamics, to realise I'm coming at unbelievable speed. I'm going to studs it in. It's so good. Like, all of it's just so good. But
second goal was absolutely incredible. Like, to be able to control the ball coming through. You know, the number of times you see the forward make that run and then is nearly surprised by the bounce of the ball, or surprised that it even got through to him. But he was just like that.
It's a guy who's playing as well.
So like the big thing as well is...
And the keeper smothered him really well.
Yeah. Like
it's such a good finish to get it over the keeper.
The big thing for the whole Irish football movement is, like, when we were kids, like, we had a football team and there was a team to support. And all those players, you know, they were kind of your heroes.
Yeah.
And, like, it's funny talking to younger people now, and all the cultural touchstones that we have, like, you know, Italy 94 and Italia 90, they didn't have them. And there's obviously still good footballers in Ireland, but the only reason that they would be heroes or players to support or follow is what they do for their clubs. This is the first time any of them have actually done anything for the national team in a generation.
What you mean?
And that's what elevates them. Like,
are there a bunch of kids who now are like, maybe I should support Ireland?
Yeah.
As opposed to big names and clubs. And they would have watched Ireland matches, but... it'd be hard to support them if you came of age in, like,
if you're 14. If you're 14,
yeah,
the last 8 years, what's it, you would have been 6 then.
Yeah.
You probably have you've no memory of Ireland doing anything meaningful.
Hard to worship that.
14 isn't that young. You know, you're watching sport for a long time, but they haven't been able to.
You'd be listening to
grab
the
on.
conversations and things like this going, where did these people get their notions from that this team should be anything other than what they are?
This is probably what makes it stronger now, because the unexpected nature of it. Like 2002, the team's amazing. Like when we beat Saudi Arabia, well, I feel like if we went to play Saudi Arabia with this team, we would still just be behind them. Come on, lads, give it your best shot. We expected to beat Saudi Arabia by 2 goals to go through in the World Cup. That was expected. 2016, the team was way better than it was over the last 8 years. Now it's like everybody appreciates what Joe's saying. Like just the effort at 2-2. Fair play to these boys for giving it a rattle. We took it right down to the last second. And now I feel like there's a connection, and the players feel that now as well. They feel that the fans are behind them. And it's like, what's the line of the gladiator? Win the crowd and you'll win your freedom. And it's like, that is now everybody is sort of all in together, which is so powerful.
It's a real shame that it does look like we're not going to be seeded, because had we been seeded, that home game, if it had happened in March in the semi-final, would have been one of the best atmosphere in Irish sport.
North Macedonia could they're ahead of Wales at the minute.
They draw with Wales on Tuesday.
Well, wait and you see the numbers that will travel in March. Yeah. We're back to the good old days of how did the Irish get all these tickets?
some people who control the finances in the various credit unions around the country, they're licking their chops this morning.
Yeah.
We could be in America next summer.
I know.
If that fails,
you mean us?
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Sport.
Don't say it.
It never even crossed my mind that we'd be at that World Cup.
No. I was like, could we make Euro 2028? Still, there's some part of me that thinks we won't.
America needs Indo Sport podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. Where would we go? New York? Let's stop this.
I'm not picky.
Yeah. Let's push on, because we've rabbited on way too long already. Our football coverage is with thanks to Sky Sports and Sky Extra, where you can watch every live Premier League match this season. Sky, we love you, but the Premier League right now feels a million miles away. But this weekend, Nottingham Forest will host Liverpool in the Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff on Premier. Then for Super Sunday, Arsenal Spurs, and then the Monday Night Football is Man United Everton. You can get Sky Sports and Sports Extra on Sky or stream them with Now. Fellas, thanks very much. Conor McKeown.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Will Slattery, thank you. Conor Doherty, thank you.
Thank you.